Արևելյան թեմի ասկային իրեսփոխանական պատկարելի ժողովի պատգամավորներ, ներողամիտ գտնվեցեք, որ փորձնական մտահոգությունների առաջնորդվելով իմ խոսքը բացառաբար պիտի չփոխանցեմ ոսկերնիկի լեզվով. Beloved delegates of the Prelacy National Representatives Assembly, had I delivered my NRA opening message with this theme, learning and growing together, as originally scheduled for May 14 in Philadelphia, the content of my remarks would have been markedly different. The ensuing pandemic, which totally changed and threatened the course of our normal life, became a test of learning and growth by mobilizing our inner and dormant abilities to overcome it. As St. Paul eloquently states, we boast in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not disappoint us. Romans chapter 5, verse 4. At first, when the lockdown was imposed, many people were frightened and others were uncertain how to meet the challenge of spending a full week in isolation. As the gravity of the situation unfolded, the impossibility became a reality of month after month of personal and community isolation. We thought that the entire system of our functionality would be paralyzed and could collapse, and yet we managed to learn a new way to thrive. There is no doubt that we have paid a high price in the loss of precious lives and in the downturn across the economy. And still, there is a long way to go before the journey is finished. Nevertheless, the fact that we were challenged but not defeated is the solid reality that the losses were not in vain but laid the foundation for a new era. With this understanding, I would like to share a few thoughts which I have discerned from this pandemic. Humbly, I must confess that my intellectual and spiritual growth over the past 6 months, when compared with my 6 decades of life experience, is quite remarkable. Taking into consideration the time limit of our August Assembly, I would like to condense my thoughts with the following initials, DCI, which stand for Divine Guidance, Collaboration, and Innovation. Divine guidance. In retrospect, by recollecting our first experiences starting in March, as we faced the global threat of this microscopic virus, and on a daily basis as we were overwhelmed with often contradictory information, we witnessed the transformation of our most advanced healthcare systems and technology. Moreover, we were cautioned that everyone should consider himself, herself, a potential carrier of this virus. Indeed, the gravity of our entire knowledge and our very existence and beliefs were shaken. Within the atmosphere of this unprecedented uncertainty, we were more frightened than the first man, Adam, when he was watching the sunset and amid darkness was not sure what was going to follow. Thank God for his providential care that eventually the sunrise prevailed, and with tiny yet solid steps, we were able to move forward. Thank God that even though we were deprived of celebrating together Palm Sunday, Holy Week, and Easter, and all the following feasts together, nevertheless, he continues to lead us by hope in the resurrection, to discover a new dimension of the power of faith over fear, and in the face of uncertainty. I thank the Lord also for directing and enabling me with the health guidelines to travel by land and to personally visit our parishes to convey to them the message that the social distancing imposed by the coronavirus could never distance the Prelacy from our beloved communities, and to assure all of our faithful that together we should overcome the pandemic with the Prelacy prescription: prayer, prudence, and patience. Second, collaboration. It is often the case that disasters will bring people closer to one another than prosperity. The pandemic was not an exception to this phenomenon. In general, when we observe the procedure of the gradual advance from the pandemic turmoil to normalizing life, collaboration stands as one of the major keys for our common success. The heroic sacrifice of the physicians, nurses, and medical staff who were and are on the front line of this invisible war, the public servants who provide our necessities and comforts, the officials in the many government agencies who are dedicated to supporting the scientists as they search for the cure for this virus, and the cooperation of the citizens in following instructions, definitely each and all have contributed an essential ingredient to success. Likewise, during this pandemic, the principle of collaboration in our Prelacy was more evident than at any other time. His Holiness Iron First Catholicos of the Holy See of Cilicia, after consulting with His Holiness Cajetan II, Catholicos of all Armenians, instructed us to take unprecedented steps to revise our liturgical and sacramental life. Since the beginning of the lockdown, every Monday evening, the Prelacy has scheduled a 2-hour conference with all our pastors, updating our experiences throughout a poignant journey and always exploring new ways and means to secure both the spirit of our church's mission and the overall well-being of our congregations. On a regular basis, we have been in communication with His Eminence Archbishop Musher Mardirosyan, Prelate of the Western Prelacy, and His Eminence Archbishop Papian Charyan, Prelate of Canada, also with His Grace Bishop Daniel Fandukyan, Primate of the Eastern Diocese, and His Excellency Vaujan Nersisyan, Ambassador of Armenia to the United States, sharing our common concerns during this time. Prelacy Executive Council meetings, as well as Prelacy staff meetings, have been held on a regular basis, securing a comparatively smooth transition. Our pastors, in conjunction with local sister organizations, have been able to reach out those who are in need, most especially to our seniors who work and are living on their own. With the cooperation of our pastors and Board of Trustees, we were able to maintain the stability of respective communities as we pave the way forward a gradual reopening of our churches. With our school's principals, we have been able to provide the essentials of our Armenian culture to our youngest generation. With the help of our domestic media and media abroad, we have been able to communicate timely advice and to promote a positive spirit in confronting the pandemic. Yes, all these and more are part and parcel of a miraculous word, collaboration, which has become more dynamic nationwide, especially as we have been most recently challenged by the catastrophic explosion which took place on August 4th in Beirut, Lebanon. Armenians dispersed all over the world have stood together and expressed their solidarity spiritually, morally, and financially. I am pleased to inform you that with the spontaneous collaboration of our parishioners and friends, as of today, we have raised a total of $316,984 to reach out our brothers and sisters to provide relief and to aid in the process of healing. This contribution is under the supervision of Lebanon Reconstruction or Coordinating Central Committee, headed by His Eminence Archbishop Shai Panussian, the Prelate. We pray that in due time, with God's blessing and our collaboration, the scares will begin to disappear and the country of cedars will celebrate renewed peace and life and bring their positive input for the progress of the global family and the Armenian community at large. Innovation. The saying necessity is the mother of invention has become the byword in our pandemic experience. As with other institutions, innovation has become the driving force to actualize plans, programs, and activities throughout the Prelacy. The Prelacy, with all her churches and parish organizations, within a short period of time, have striven to cope with this unprecedented situation and to respond efficiently to the needs of our people. Our pastors, to their credit, provide daily reflections along with live streaming every Sunday of the services and the badaraks, as well as lighting of candles or offering special prayers for the deceased or the sick. Bible studies, lectures, reading of Bible stories, as well as passages from Armenian literature for children, the Siamanto Academy and Datev Institute's online courses for teens. All these programs and more have been reorganized within new parameters to meet the needs of our people. If I were asked in the beginning of this year to describe the word Zoom, following the dictionary definition, I would have answered to focus on a subject to examine more closely. Since last March, however, Zoom has become the best means for our meetings with the Executive Council, with clergy, with the staff, with the principals, with the board members, and today with our NRA delegates. Having been forged with the positive outcome of the pandemic, we look forward with more positive spirit and a clear view. During the second year of my tenure, soon we will enjoy the ordination of the priesthood of a new candidate born and raised in America. Our departments of religious education, national education, and communication have launched new projects and with innovative collaboration, we elevate the spirit of our communities on different levels. We pray and hope that God will enable us to implement the many new projects which have been planned in coming year. In concluding my remarks, I would like to thank the Almighty Lord for His providential care and leading us to learn and to grow together, not only in times of peace and prosperity, but also in times of tribulation and uncertainty. I extend my filial gratitude to His Holiness Catholicos Aram I, who directed us in this different and difficult period of turmoil. My deepest thanks and appreciation to my colleagues, to the religious and executive council members for their unconditional collaboration, to the Prelacy staff for their superb dedication, to our pastors who wholeheartedly carry the heavy yoke under the dispensation of God's commandment of love and service, to the NRA members and Board of Trustees who vigilantly continue their care over their respective churches and maintain the integrity of our communities, to our sister organizations for their support toward our common goal. I would like also to thank our parishioners and friends by making the following sincere confession. During the pandemic, once every week, when I used to visit the Prelacy, in order to assure the building that it's not orphaned. When I used to visit the Prelacy to collect the mail, I was deeply moved to receive the appreciated envelopes of support sent by our Board of Trustees, as well as by our beloved parishioners and dear friends. I always stopped to read their names one by one. I wish I could number them all, but as I said, within the limits of our time frame, it's not possible. Nevertheless, I would like to say that the clear voice of Catholicos Holy First of Blessed of Memory clearly echoed in my ears when I was newly ordained. Some in coming years, through your own experience, you will realize that you are serving a gold-hearted people. And raising my tearful eyes to heaven, offer the genuine prayer which poured from my heart and faith with the magnificent word of our Badaraks chant. Takavoryek nabo, zegeretsiko an charge bahya, yevzerge bakus anvanat kum, bahya icharawutyan. Heavenly King, keep unshaken our church and the worshippers of your holy name, keep in peace. It is true that God works in mysterious ways to each of us and for each of us. May God bless us all and protect us all from visible and invisible viruses, enemies, and powers. May He keep in peace the world and keep unshaken Christendom, the Armenian Apostolic Church, and the worshippers of His holy name. Thank you.